playing tag, what role are you? Are you chasing? Are you running? Are you yelling? Are you crying? Are you leading? Are you grabbing the girls saying, let's go get the boys? Which person are you? I was probably the one that was yelling, grabbing the girls to go chase the boys. I've been talking and being called a social butterfly before I can even talk, barely. It's like I've also always enjoyed relationships with other people. This is who I am. I am an ENFJ, which means I'm extroverted, intuitive, feeling, and judging. So what this means is instead of being really introverted, I'm incredibly extroverted. So I feel recharged by being around other people, by interacting with them, socializing with them. Even just physically being in a room with another person makes me feel more energized than if I was by myself. I often go with my gut feeling. I really do take my emotions into account when I'm making decisions. And I like to have strong opinions versus wishy-washy ones. In a team, odds are I'll be talking a lot. I'll be throwing out a lot of ideas, but this doesn't always mean that every idea I'm sold on. I'm an incredibly external processor, so how I think is by talking it out. So I'll just be throwing things here, throwing things there, but it doesn't necessarily mean that each thing I say holds the most importance, versus somebody who, maybe an analytical person, who says only the fewest things they can, and they mean every single one. I'm also very goal-oriented, as well as comfortable with others, and so because of these two things, I tend to end up being the leader in teams or groups, which I'm comfortable with, but I also really strive to have cohesiveness, and I'm kind of like a relatively peaceful person, so I'm all about bringing the peace, keeping the peace. In a team, despite having the aptitude for leadership, I'm more than capable of kind of relinquishing the role and just going with the flow. I like equal work, and I like to get along with everybody. I will always have an opinion, but if it means that my opinion would stir conflict, odds are I'm going to back down just to keep the peace. Additionally, as I stated earlier, I'm very emotionally driven. What this doesn't mean is that I'm irrational. I still have logic, how I like is I prefer my decisions to align with how my emotions are feeling. There are moments when, because of this, I'm unable to see the big picture. I'm more kind of caught up in emotions of the present. However, it has been able to be a benefit. It makes me be able to be passionate about things. Like I said, it can lead to some instability, which is in difficult decisions or high stress levels. If it's something important and I don't know how I feel about it, odds are I'm probably having a difficult time making a decision about it. But if I have a strong emotion, I'm kind of a full speed ahead. An example of this, wait for it, boys. Believe it or not, I'm the girl who sits in a state of uncertainty, straddling the fence. If they could give me 100 logical reasons why we should date, and I would still be sitting right on that fence. It's not the brain that needs to be convinced, it's my emotions. One cute thing that affects my emotions, and I'm 0 to 60. Another thing about me is I'm an avid list maker, compulsive planner, and honorary analyzee. I like to get stuff done. Efficiency in a team is important to me, and although my interactions are usually characterized by warmth and tolerance, I like to move at fast pace, and I like to get things done, which might come across as brisk. One critical thing for working with me in a team is I'm a visual learner, but more importantly is I do not have auditory skills. If you tell me something terribly important, like a meeting time or a due date, there's a 99% chance I will not remember that unless it is written down or in an email or I immediately put it in my phone. I just don't comprehend or remember verbal directions. Even when someone, when we were younger, or if you're in a family setting, would say, and your mom is saying something inappropriate, but there's children around, so she spells it out, I'm that person who sits there what the heck did she just say? And I'll have to visualize the word as it's being spelled out to really get it. So furthermore, in a group, I'm open to try try new things, but I'm also comfortable just using already established and effective working methods. Like I said, I'm not afraid to step out of the box, but I'm also comfortable staying in it. Lastly, I care about people, I care about grades. In a team, my main goals are to get along, work hard, and get the A.